Hi, handsome. How are you? Say hello. I'm Marcos, and I am a unassisted childbirth baby. I'm a Freebirth baby. Yeah. Hello there. I hope that this sun is not blocking the way. Okay. Hi. This is Stephanie, and it's been a while since I made a video. I just really have been busy with life, and I just haven't been able to get around to it. So I do apologize for that, but I wanted to update and let everyone know that I did have my unassisted birth, my fourth baby, my first son, and my first UC. It was fantastic, and I am just so thankful that I followed my gut, I went with my intuition, and I did what I believed I should do. The birth was, I can't imagine a better birth, really. It was my fastest labor. I went into labor, I don't know, in the early afternoon, but it didn't get really intense until around 5 p.m. And he was born at around 7:30 at night. So my really intense labor was probably about 3 hours, something like that. It really wasn't bad. Coming from me, my birth before him was 24 hours long, 23 hours. I was home for 22 of them, but I ended up going to the hospital with my previous baby just because I was afraid. I chickened out at the last minute. But with him, I was just me and my husband together. And my husband was fantastic. He helped me so much. He, I would get afraid occasionally when the contractions were really intense, and I needed him to ground me, and he really helped me with that. I would be like, tell me that I can do this, tell me that I'm okay, and he did. And I labored in the shower, I labored on my couch, and I ended up in my bedroom. And I was on the bed for a while, and then I was kind of kneeling on the floor onto my bed, and that felt really good. And Fernando, my husband, left the room to get something for me, and I had this intense contraction, really, really big, strong contraction, and my water broke everywhere, and I just felt this surge of energy where I knew what I had to do, and I was just like, okay, it's time to have this baby. And Fernando came running in, and I was on my hands and knees in that position, and my body just started pushing my baby out, and I didn't have to do really much at all to help it along. I kind of just breathed. I felt my baby moving down, and at one point, this happened quickly, maybe 5 minutes of pushing. I felt like, okay, all I need to do is give one tiny push and my baby's going to come out. And that's what I did. So I really only gave like one push, and the rest was just allowing him to come out. And once I did that push, he crowned and his head came out. And Fernando, my husband, was behind me, and he kind of had his hand there by his head, and I could see his head come out, and I was just so ecstatic about the whole thing. It was so exciting, so exhilarating. And then his whole body just slipped right out. And he was so cute and so little. He was so much smaller than I thought he would be. He wasn't super small, but he was like 7 pounds. And my previous baby was my largest baby. She was almost 9 pounds, so big difference there. So I was surprised at how small he was, but he was so cute. And I was just like, we did it! We did it! And my husband was so excited, and I picked him right up, and I put him to my breast, and that was really just, I was on such a high from it. And it lasted for a while, which was good, because my son was a really colicky baby. I never had a baby with colic before, and I am exclusively breastfeeding. And now he's 8 months old, so he's eating some food, but he was still really colicky. And that high that I got from birth, that natural oxytocin high, really gave me a strong connection with my son, so that I was able to get through those weeks of incessant crying. Whereas I really believe that if I had given birth in a different way, I wouldn't have had that really good connection with him, and I wouldn't have had that rush of oxytocin to kind of get me through that difficult newborn period. So I'm so thankful for that, because I probably would have ended up with postpartum depression had I not had the birth that I had. I really do believe that. Right after he was born, most of my placenta came out, like 90% of it, but the rest of it was stuck, and I really wasn't sure what was going on with that. And the only fear that I held on to with this birth was the placenta, because I had never had a natural third stage of labor. I'd always been given a shot of Pitocin, and so I was worried about that. It had been like maybe 20 minutes, and I was getting worried. I kind of panicked a little bit, and so I called 911. And as soon as I called, I was like, this was a mistake. But the EMTs came. They weren't too happy about the whole situation. They were kind of like, you know, oh my God, you had a baby, you know. But I was calmer by that point, and I was already feeling like, you know what, I don't think I'm going to go to the hospital. And some like superior person came, like another EMT, but who has more qualifications. It was a woman, and she came and she took my blood pressure, and she was like, you know what, if you were hemorrhaging, your blood pressure would not be so good. And she kind of like indirectly was kind of letting me know, like, you're fine. And I really felt fine by that point too. So I was like, I'm not going to go to the hospital, you know. I thank you for coming, thank you for checking me out, but I'm just going to wait for the rest of the placenta to come out, and if there's a problem, then I'll call back. So they left, and my husband and I just kind of hung out, and probably about 5 minutes after the EMTs left, the rest of my placenta came out. And I found out later that I had a lobe, an extra lobe on my placenta, and you can actually see it in pictures that I took. That part was stuck a little bit, but it wasn't an issue. You know, if I hadn't called the EMTs and all that, I really didn't need to do that. I was fine. I just needed to wait a little bit longer, but I didn't realize that that I was bleeding a little bit, and I didn't know what's normal, what's a normal amount. And I didn't know that some of the blood can pool behind the placenta, and that's what was coming out, and I just didn't know that. So now I know that for next time. But I had such a great birth. It was so good. I was so connected to my husband, so connected to my baby. I didn't do any checks on myself. I didn't try to check my cervix. I didn't use a Doppler or a fetoscope or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with doing those things at all. But I didn't feel the need to do it. I was totally in tune with my labor, and I knew my cervix was opening. I could just feel it. I really didn't need to do any exams on myself. So, you know, I just went with whatever I felt led to do, and that was kind of just trying to be as comfortable as possible and breathe through my contractions and remind myself that my baby's coming and I'm going to be okay. And really the moment that I felt like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, that's when my water broke and my baby was born. So I'd say really, overall, it was just a fantastic experience, and I would definitely do it the same again. And if I get pregnant again, I will have a totally unassisted pregnancy. I don't want to have an ultrasound. Unless there's something wrong, I'm not going to see a doctor. Pregnancy is not a medical condition. And for me, and I know this isn't the best choice for everyone. Everyone has to do what they are comfortable with. For me, I just felt so much healthier and stronger and emotionally healthy doing things on my own, just being connected with myself. And I have this handsome little guy after 3 baby girls. So he is spoiled rotten by his big sisters. Right, Marcos? This is Marcos. Hi, handsome. Hello. We're on a little walk right now while Daddy has the girls. And we say, UC is awesome. Thank you for listening, and I'll try to update some more, make some other videos, and I will link to my blog post that I gave a whole birth story and some pictures of the birth as well. Okay, see you later. Bye.